You're standing on top of a mountain. No cell towers for 60 miles in any direction. Your phone says, no service. So you do the only reasonable thing. You hold it up to the sky like it's the year 2009. And somehow, the text sends. Here's the strange part. You didn't get closer to a tower. There was no tower. Your phone just quietly texted a machine flying 500 kilometers above your head, moving at 8 kilometers per second. It did this using the exact same phone you drop in the toilet. No special antenna. No weird case. No satellite dish strapped to your back. So how, on Earth, does a normal phone text something in space? Let's break it down. First, why does your phone say no service in the first place? Your phone is not shouting to the whole planet. It's whispering to the nearest cell tower, usually a few miles away. Cross a mountain range or sail past the coast, and there's simply nothing close enough to hear the whisper. That's a dead zone. And dead zones cover most of the actual surface of the Earth. Oceans, deserts, forests, that one stretch of highway where every horror movie begins. For 100 years, the fix was the same. Build more towers. But you cannot build a tower in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. So somebody asked a gloriously lazy question. What if we stop moving the phone closer to the tower, and just move the tower into the sky? That's the whole idea. Take a cell tower, the part that talks to your phone, and bolt it onto a satellite. Then fly that satellite low over the planet. Now the tower isn't 3 miles away. It's 500 kilometers straight up, which sounds insane, until you realize there's nothing in the way. No mountains. No buildings. Just a clear line straight to space. Now, you might be thinking, hang on, we've had satellite phones for decades. And we have. But those were big clunky bricks with a fat antenna sticking out of the top. They cost a small fortune, and you needed a special dedicated device just to use one. What's genuinely new here is one tiny word. Normal. This works on the ordinary phone already in your pocket, the same one you use to argue in group chats. No brick. No special handset. That is the entire leap. And to make an everyday phone reach all the way to space, engineers had to beat 3 genuinely brutal problems. The first one is that your phone is a total weakling. Your phone transmits with about 1/5 of a watt of power. That is less than the light bulb inside your refrigerator. On the ground, that's fine, the tower is close. But now we're asking that tiny whisper to travel 500 kilometers, straight up, and be heard by something screaming across the sky. It's like trying to hear one person whisper from the far end of a football stadium, in the middle of a concert. So the satellite cannot use tiny ears. It uses enormous ones. Each direct-to-cell satellite carries a giant flat antenna, a phased array the size of a small billboard. Its entire job is to be absurdly sensitive, to catch a signal so faint it's basically a rumor. The phone stays weak. The satellite does all the heavy lifting. That's the deal. Problem 2 is even sneakier. That satellite is not parked up there. It's a low Earth orbit satellite, and it is moving at nearly 28,000 kilometers per hour. And when a transmitter moves that fast, its signal gets warped by something you already know. The Doppler effect. You've heard it 1,000 times. An ambulance races toward you and the siren sounds high and tight. It passes, and the pitch suddenly drops low. The siren never changed. The motion itself squished the sound waves going in, and stretched them coming out. Now do that, but with a radio signal, at 8 kilometers per second. As the satellite rushes toward your phone, the frequency shifts up. As it flies away, it shifts down. And we're talking a swing of roughly 48,000 cycles, far more than your phone's little internal clock was ever built to handle. Your phone would just get confused and give up. So here's the clever part. The satellite already knows exactly where it is, exactly how fast it's going, and exactly where your phone is sitting. So it does the math in advance. It pre-warps its own signal in the opposite direction, so that by the time the signal reaches you, the Doppler shift cancels out perfectly. Your phone receives a clean, steady, boring signal and never even realizes it's talking to something moving faster than a rifle bullet. The satellite is basically auto-tuning itself in real time, so your phone doesn't have to. Which brings us to problem 3. Size. A normal cell tower covers maybe a few miles. But a single satellite this high can beam down a cell of coverage hundreds of kilometers wide. One tower, covering an area bigger than some entire countries. That's amazing for reaching empty places, and a nightmare for engineering. Because thousands of people could share that one giant cell, and a signal from the near edge and the far edge of the cell arrive at very different times. So the system constantly measures each phone's timing and delay, and lines everyone up, like a conductor keeping a very, very spread out orchestra in perfect sync. Now here's the detail that makes the whole thing quietly genius. Your phone is doing nothing special. It thinks it's connected to a completely normal cell tower. Because to your phone, it is one. The satellite carries the same kind of equipment a ground tower uses, and it broadcasts on ordinary phone frequencies your device already speaks, in this case the very same band your carrier already uses down on the ground. No firmware update to send a basic text. No new SIM card. If your phone is from roughly the last 4 years, it can probably already do this. The revolution isn't in your hand. It's in orbit. And this is not a someday thing. It is happening right now. It started with the humblest feature on your phone, the text message. Because a tiny text needs almost no bandwidth, which is exactly what you want when your tower is a rumor 500 kilometers away. From there it grew to picture messages, then to data, and then even to voice calls. There are already hundreds of these satellites in orbit, serving people across dozens of countries, and the constellation gets bigger every single month. And this is the part that actually matters. This is the kind of technology that quietly saves lives. A hiker with a broken leg. A driver stranded in a snowstorm on an empty road. A fishing boat far past the edge of the coast. All the places where, until now, your phone was just an expensive, useless brick. So take a second and zoom out. For the entire history of the mobile phone, there was a map of the world with giant blank spots. The middle of the ocean. The deep desert. The mountain pass. That map is finally being erased. Not by putting a tower on every peak, but by turning the whole sky into one enormous tower that is always passing overhead. So the next time you're somewhere with no service, and a text somehow slips out anyway, you'll know the truth. Your little half-what whisper didn't find a tower. It flew to space, and got caught by a giant antenna moving faster than a bullet, that pre-corrected its own signal just so your phone wouldn't panic. Your phone didn't get smarter. The sky did. If you just learned something genuinely useful, hit subscribe. We break down the tech you use every day.